Is the doomsday for the expert industry here? Well, let's explore it in this episode of Explode Your Expert Business Show. Hi, my name is Simone Vincenzi, co founder of GTEX, and we turn experts into authorities. Today, I want to talk about the doomsday of the expert industry. Now, there are a lot of things that are changing right now in the expert industry, in particular in 2019. And I want to explore what are those changes, how they are affecting the expert industry, what can you expect in 2019 about the expert industry, the things that they're going to be affecting negatively the expert industry, and the things that are actually the opportunities that are emerging from this doomsday. So stay tuned, you will have a blast. First of all, happy 2019. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's an exciting new year. I spent my New Year's Eve watching Mission Impossible on the sofa with my wife. It's been a very relaxing evening. Then watching the fireworks, a glass of bubbles, and then here we go to sleep. It's been a really relaxing 2019 as a starting, but then immediately on the first day, my wife and I were in the living room recording all the video content that we needed for January. So from day one, we immediately started taking action. That's how I like to start the year. But let's not talk about my year. Actually, I'm interested to understand how was your New Year's Eve. Let me know. I'm curious to hear what were you up to? What did you do? Just write it down here in the comment or send me a message. I'm really curious to hear that. Hope you had a good one. So let's talk about the doomsday of the expert industry. Now, 2018 has been an intense year for the expert industry, in particular because there were a lot of things that changed. Big changes happened, and as you probably know, on Facebook. And with all these changes happening on Facebook, with the profiles being closed down, advertisement budget going through the roof, adverts not working as they were working before, a lot of people creating fake accounts and using scamming strategies. All this made sure that actually Facebook is making our work to spread our message even more difficult, because now we need to come up with more creative and engaging ideas to get the attention of the people that we want to get the attention to. So what is the landscape? What is going to be now with all these changes that are happening? What's going to be the landscape in 2019? Well, first of all, I want to start saying that 2019 is going to be a very crowded year. More and more people are joining the expert movement, as we call it, and they are aware that they can make more money using their own skills that they've been crafting and doing over the years. So they are now starting more and more businesses. And therefore, there is, guess what? More and more competition. While before there were a few people maybe doing what you're doing right now, now every day businesses are starting out doing, and experts are coming out doing exactly what you want to do, targeting exactly the same people with exactly the same message, because sometimes maybe they are taking inspiration from you, or you're one of these people that now is taking inspiration from them, and rightly, you're doing what you need to do to get out there and to capture their attention. So, as I said, things are getting more and more difficult because the space is going to be super crowded. So, the challenge will be, how do you stand out? How do you make sure that actually you get the clients that you want, and those clients they don't go somewhere else? That's gonna be a big massive question to answer in 2019. And then another thing that I wrote down here that is going to be even more difficult. And the reason why it's going to be even more difficult is not only because of the social media platform changes that happen, but also because there are going to be more and more technologies. There are going to be more and more opportunities as well. There are going to be more and more strategies. There are more and more experts coming out teaching how to be experts that they don't know what they are doing, so they are teaching the wrong things. And the reason why it's going to be is more difficult, it is because it's going to be more difficult to even keep focused on the things that are important, on the things that really work, on the things that matter, because it's going to be very easy to be scattered. It's going to be very easy to move around and follow the latest influencer, which is promising to be the new messiah that is going to change the world of your business. And I'm saying this because I'm one of them. And there are a lot of people that, unfortunately, not like myself, they haven't been through the trial and error. They haven't been running their businesses for years, and now they're just getting out there and saying, oh, you know what, that's what you can do. And sometimes I see so much bad advice given, and it makes me it makes me feel sad about how the whole industry is going down, because unfortunately there are some people that don't value putting the work in, not value building their experience before teaching something, because they are interested in the quick buck. And there are going to be more and more of these people coming out because this industry is becoming really popular. And so, how do you distinguish who are the right voices from the voices that you shouldn't listen to? That's going to be a very, very interesting time. Also, for influencers like myself, who do I listen to? I think we all are in the same boat. Then the other things that we said is going to be about the Facebook ads cost. Before Facebook ads was the new thing, and it was fairly affordable to get people to come to your event. Hello, Siawash, thank you very much for joining all the way from Norway. As I was saying, there is going to be more. Before Facebook ads were a great way to get people to join your courses, to get people to join your seminars, your webinars, and it was quite affordable. Unfortunately, right now, Facebook ads are increasing day after day. And what before maybe it was costing you £2 or £3 to get, or $2 or $3 to get someone to join your mailing list or to join your courses. Now we are talking about 10, 15, 20, 100, 200, 300, depending on the kind of lead that you want to acquire. So if you don't have that capital, actually Facebook ads at the beginning is not revealing to be a great strategy or the best option. So we need to be more creative also in which ways are we going after the audience that we want, and using our budget accordingly. And then the last thing that I want to mention in this doomsday prediction is the trust factor. It's going to be more and more difficult for people that are starting and getting into this industry, getting bombarded from messages left, right, and center to know who to trust. And they will subscribe to more and more mailing lists. They will follow more and more people and buy less and less because they don't know who to buy from. So you'll find that there are going to be a lot of people that will opt in, that will consume a lot of your free content, but they will not give you that money because they are going out consuming the free content of everyone else up until they find the right person that is speaking their message, that is speaking to them, that can build trust, they can build a relationship, and have the right product and the right offer for them at the right time. And so this is important for you to understand because now that you know this about your landscape, then you can craft your marketing message accordingly. And that's something that we are going to teach our client this year because your marketing need to adjust depending of the time and history in which you are and what you have at your disposal. So these are the doomsday prediction. I think these are the more challenging times that we have ahead this year. But now I want to switch. Now I want to talk about actually the things that are going to happen in 2019, that are positive notes, that are opportunities. Because as you know, every challenge represents an equal greater opportunity. The bigger the challenge, the bigger the opportunity. At least that's what I believe, and that's I'm running GTEx, and that's how our team believes as well. So there is something that is gonna become more difficult with being bombarded by tools and different information to understand who to follow. At the same time, it's going to become way easier to run our businesses. Artificial intelligence is becoming available for literally pennies. There are great tools and softwares that are going up online for free, for subscription of $10, $20, $30, $50 a month, that can literally run your business for you. We are talking about landing page software that are becoming cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, email sequences software that are becoming cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, CRM systems, and not only they're becoming cheaper, but they're getting evolved. So we are talking about artificial intelligence going into those machines also for small business owners, which is something that so far was just reserved to the big guys because they had the budget to develop those platforms and to get the developers in house. So that's one thing that you want to be aware of. Technology is going to make a massive leaps, has already been making it for years at a really fast speed, but the speed of technology is going to get faster and faster and faster. So it's worth having someone in your corner who is a bit of a tech geek that is going to consult you and is going to help you and is going to let you know when a new software or a new tool is coming out that can make your life and your business simpler. For example, I'm one of these geeks because I love the latest softwares and systems. I love to test new things all the time. But also we have in GTEx CJ Sohal, our tech geek, and is a whiz with all the new tools and new technologies, making sure that a business functions in the optimal way, making the most of really inexpensive tools. So be aware that in 2019 you will have even more opportunities to use technology to make your life and business easier. So you can have more time to do what matters rather than doing a lot of manual things. Artificial intelligence and tools, they're going to replace a lot of these things that you might be doing that actually you can outsource in a smarter way, paying a $10 or $20 a month subscription. Then the other thing that is going to happen is that because there are going to be so many people that are going to flood this market right now, calling themselves expert, but that are not, if you really know your stuff, and if you are showing how deep you know what you're talking about, then you are going to immediately stand out. Because the majority of people might not have your depth of knowledge, might not have your depth of expertise of results that you have provided. So all these things, then they will come really huge assets for you. And it will be easier as well to stand out. The reason why? It is because a lot of people that are going to put out content that only scratches the surface. So if you take your time to create something that is going to blow people away, as well as creating top of mind content, then you are onto a winner. I'll give you an example. Now I'm going to spend more time actually writing detailed, in-depth content in 2019. But as well, I'm going to use a more automated strategy to put out the top of mind, kind of scratch the surface content just to get people to see me all the time. Because you need to have both. You need to have the depth and you need to have also the width. You need to have to be in front of your audience as much as possible Like while before, just going on one social media platform was acceptable, now is not acceptable anymore in 2019. You have enough tools and you have enough integrations to make sure that your message goes everywhere. And you want to have that and you need to have that. Because otherwise, people are going to buy from the other person, which is being in front of them consistently, and is also going to write the deeper content. So that's the kind of game you want to play. And if you are the kind of person that said, well, but I don't really want to get out there too much, well, I'll tell you, it's going to be tougher and tougher for you to get any business. While before maybe you could survive, now it's going to be tougher because you have even more people that are joining and you need to stand out in some way. But on the other hand, if you show what you have and you invest time in creating long form videos, long form pieces of content that are actually valuable, people will build such a level of trust in you and they will see that you put so much work behind it that they will want to buy from you. And the good news is that if, for example, you don't want to spend hours and hours to do this, you can outsource it. You can create the content on video or audio format and then have other people writing the content. For example, that's part of the strategy that we use at GTEx. I'm going to be mainly creating video and audio content and the deep detail long post form because I want to build this relationship with people. I want people to understand that here at GTEx we know what we are talking about and we know it better than anyone else. But then on the top of mind content, which is the more short form, I'm just going to create a lot of videos and getting someone else to transcribe and create a post from those videos. That's exactly what I've been doing yesterday. I recorded more than, I think, 32 1 minute, between 40 seconds and 1 minute video that are going to now be on social media everywhere. But also, these are going to be the written content that I'm going to put out. So we talked about that it's going to be easier as well because of the tech. We talked that it's going to be easier as well to stand out by really showing off how much you know and the results that you can do for people. Also, think that there is going to be a shift here. You will see a lot of a lot of people building their personal brand. Because 2018 has been the year where everyone has been talking about building your personal brand, in particular following Crushing It from Gary Vee. And so a lot of people jumped on the bandwagon now. However, now you will see that everyone else is going to be talking only about themselves and talking only about what they do and how great they are. There is going to be a shift in some point where now people are going to get bored about it. So something that we are going to do as well as to always keep talking and building my personal brand, but is to slightly turn the volume on more on our clients. Results, case studies, community, stories, features. Because while everyone then is talking about themselves, we are going to talk 60% about our client and 40% about us. Again, this is another way to stand out and to be different. So that's why it's important to understand what's going on in your market because then you can or do the opposite or adjust or do better what other people are doing and therefore stand out. So that's one of the ways in which we will stand out in 2019 and getting the shift more on the community that you're building. And if you're not building a community, massive, massive mistake. This is something that is going to be even stronger in 2019, even stronger. But then switching the focus in particular to that community. And then another thing that is going to make a massive difference in 2019 that you really want to be aware of is that, as I mentioned before, it's time for you to be everywhere. And it's time for you to be almost on every social media platform because people are going to check you out. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, but I don't really like Twitter, but I don't really like this platform, I don't really like this other platform. Listen, I hate Instagram. I still don't find it exciting. I love Facebook, I love LinkedIn. Instagram, really find it pretty dull, pretty boring. But at the same time, I know there is a massive opportunity on Instagram, and a percentage of my clients, they hang out, and potential clients, they hang out on Instagram. And I'm getting incredible results with my story views. Something that I wouldn't expect, even if it's something that I'm not really a consumer of. So, what is that you need to think about is that you need to put yourself in your client's shoes. See where they are, see what they want. And imagine that now one of your clients go on Instagram and doesn't find you, goes on LinkedIn and doesn't find you, goes on Facebook and you're only on Facebook. What are they going to think about you? While they will go and find someone else, and now they are on LinkedIn, they are on Facebook, they are on Instagram, they are on Twitter, they are on Periscope, they are everywhere. So I'm telling you right now to choose at least 3 to 4 platforms where you can be in consistently. But this is the thing, you don't need to create content for every single platform. You can repurpose the content that you already have created from one platform and put it also in the other platform. Because now there is such a cross reference of platforms that as long as you create a message that can work for different platforms, then you can now have massive exposure on your content. And you can see that people like Gary Vaynerchuk, Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins as well, Oprah, they are doing, Ariana Huffington, they are doing this incredibly well. Now you can say, well, but Simone, they have big teams. I'm not as big as them. Well, I'll tell you right now, I didn't have a social media team, and up until now, at the moment of the recording, I have a virtual assistant that does the repurposing. So we create the content, I tell her where to go, and then she will publish and post it. So you don't need to have a complex social media team as long as you structure things from the get go in the right way. In fact, if you want to know more, join our online course and our online membership because we are building a training on how to create the entire structure of content creation and repurposing. You will absolutely love that, and you get 30 days for free as well. And then it's $47 a month. So less than really like a cup of coffee every 2 days to get that. But this is one of the courses that we are building in on top of the other 20 plus courses that we have. So look at the way you are creating your content and that you can expand and be published in different other locations. This is one of the best ways to build your brand and to build your client's brand as well in an organic way. And then if you want, you can also put some paid advertisement around it. For example, we are now putting more and more money on Facebook advertisement. It's more expensive, but at least it's still one of the top ways and the best ways to build that right audience. And I love the Facebook advertising platform. So be everywhere, all right? And then we have the last one, which is I think is going to be a buzzword in 2019, which is relationship. I predict that the word relationship is going to be a huge buzzword in 2019. You have seen it already many times in 2018, but it's going to be even more used in 2019. Why? Because there are going to be so many more choices for people that they don't know who to work with. And so you want to build, to have a strong funnel that builds a relationship instead of instant sales. Now, they are really important to manage both. You want the instant sale and you want the relationship. But remember that the instant sale, for as things are going, is always going to diminish and become harder and harder. And the relationship game is going to be more and more important. So the leads that you will get now might convert at 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. But this is why it's important to do the work now and to always consistently get leads, because those one will convert maybe 6 months or 12 months down the line. And if you plan your relationship game well, you now have multiple different touch points and multiple different offers to give them, so then you can build that ongoing relationship with your audience. from the lower paid program to the higher paid programs. So these are the things that are going to make an impact in 2019. Relationship, relationship, relationship. Invest that time, invest that money, invest those resources in building a relationship with your audience, with your clients, with your potential clients, because it's going to become even more important. And also referrals are going to become even more important than before, because now if people don't know who to buy anymore from, they will turn to their friends and said, what was your experience with X person? Who do you recommend? So make sure that within your content strategy and within your relationship building strategy, you always have a very, very strong referral strategy. For example, that's something that in GTEx we have not been really consistent at using. And it's going to become a massive focus for us in 2019. Now that we have more than 400 clients that have been joined our courses, seminars, paid programs, online and offline. So we are going to massively build on that. Now, there is one thing that you might be saying. For someone who's been in business now for a few years, what I'm saying is making perfect sense. They say, okay, Simone, thank you very much. You're absolutely awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I'm going to get going. But for someone who is now been we starting their business, we starting their expert business, they hear this and they say, oh my God, I really, am I in the right place? Can I make it? It's too overwhelming. No, I can't do it. Listen, if you are at the beginning, start simple, okay? You can have what I said today as an end goal for your strategies. Because if you're learning business skills and you're refining your expertise while building your business, there are too many things going on. So instead of having a 1 year approach and say, I want to make 1 million this year and I don't even know what I'm talking about and I never run a business before, I'm not here to poop on your dreams because I believe that everything is possible. What I'm saying is hope for the best and be prepared for the worst. Right? Now, have in mind that it might take a longer journey. And from the experience I have, there are only about 1% of people that are just these shooting stars, and all the others they take 5, 6, 7 years, 3 years, 5 years to build a sustainable business, a business that can give them recurring income, that can give them clients every time they want, to build a strong name, to build a strong reputation. Now, I've been in this industry now for 8 years at this point, and it's still not much time compared to a lot of the other guys that have been around for 20, 30, 40 years. Uh, I started when I was 22, I'm 30 now. But there is something I can tell you. I've got a lot of people buying from me now that they were following me when I was 22. And the reason why it is because they admire the consistency, the progress, the fact that no matter what, we were showing up every single day. And we had our goals, we had our big dreams, and we still have them. But at the same time, we are putting a pinch of reality in there. And I know for some people that are very super visionaries, they will say, or they say, no, but the law of attraction doesn't say this. Listen, I believe in the law of attraction and I believe in business. So I'm combining both. I'm always visualizing, always looking for the doors that I want to open and the money that I want to make. And I tell you, it works all the time. But at the same time, I'm also more careful and more conscious that what I want might not manifest right away. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But what I'm willing to do is to do whatever it takes to make that happen, to make that a reality. And that's what works for me. Everyone manifests in a different way. Everyone creates in a different way. For example, my wife approaches business in a totally different level. But what I can share with you is what works for me. And what I can share with you as well is that it's important to know your creative process. And I think that that's something you might want to invest some time and money on in 2019 if you haven't done it yet. Understand yourself in such a way that you know what makes you work, that you know what makes you create, that you know how you naturally get results, that you know what are you more inclined to do and not to do. Because self-awareness is the number one skill that you can have as an expert, as an entrepreneur. And then you will find that your audience will resonate naturally with who you are, will resonate naturally with your message. The moment I stopped looking at how other people were creating their success and start thinking about how could I create my success, what makes sense to me, still studying other people. I'm not saying not observe, but what I'm saying is not to take exactly what they have done and put it on you, because you are a different person, you have different resources, you have a different time, you have different skills, you have a different background. I love the idea of modeling, but I think there are a lot of flaws in built in, and it's not just because you funnel hack something and you're gonna get the same results. Actually, very unlikely. But what you can understand is what are the principles that these people are using that you admire, and then have a reality check with yourself. Does it resonate with you? Does it make sense to you? And if the answer is yes, boom, right, go for it. If the answer is no, find your way. Find your way, and you will know and you will notice that when you find your way, when you will find your uniqueness, then you will start attract the best clients that you possibly can attract, best opportunities, and you will attract like a magnet. And that's my wish for you in 2019 if you're starting out, and as well if you've been in business for a while. Now, these were my doomsday predictions. I'm curious to hear about what predictions do you have? What do you think is going to happen in our industry, in the expert industry, in 2019? Please leave a comment below or send me a message. You can send me an email at simone@gtex.org.uk. And if you want to monetize your speaking business and make sure that this year is the year where you make money in your speaking business and you get clients in your speaking business and you get booked consistently and you stand out from the stage, then there is a link here in the show notes and on the video, and you can click it and apply for our Monetize Your Speaking Business program. This is a program that we can do one-to-one or a group program. You can decide. We have a few different options, and we are going to help you get booked consistently, create your converting pitch from the stage, help you creating your brand as a speaker, and also teach you how you can connect consistently with event organizers. So that's how the program works. We will be there with you, guiding you every single step of the way, giving you the templates, giving you the tips, helping you also in the different interaction with event organizers. If we have a relevant connection that we can make, we will make it, but it's not guaranteed, depending on your level of speaking. That's the most important thing. But this is what we will be doing for you and the team that you have access to. So there is a link in the show notes and here in the comments. Click the link on Monetize Your Speaking Business and apply right now. Thank you very much for listening today. If you haven't subscribed to the show, subscribe to the podcast. If you're watching on Facebook Live, then like the page, or subscribe on our YouTube channel if you are watching this on YouTube. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode because I've got something special for you. In the next, I think it's going to be 13 episodes, I'm going to give you access audio, on the audio version of one of our program called Your Road to Business Success, where we are going to explain how the expert business canvas works, so then you can have your business strategy and refine your business strategy for the entire 2019. Every week, I'm going to release 3 different episodes, and we are going to talk about 3 different parts of the canvas. So then you can, week by week, work on different aspects of your business. This is going to be a mini series. The videos are an average of from 3 to 5 to 10 minutes long. The audio in this case, which is taken from this video, which are part of our private membership site. And I'm sure that you will love this training. It's the first time we do an audio training on our show. And I decided that it will be a great way to start the year with a focus on January on your business strategy. And that's where the next audio will be from. I will always create an introduction so then I give you more context around the training that you're going to see. So every time you listen to one of our shows, get pen and paper because we have got something special prepared for you. I'll see you next time. Ciao.